if you look at the vision of Brave Combat Federation, our goal really was to change the sport from an event business to a sports business. That was the idea. So how do we make that happen? I mean, there's so many aspects to it. You need to have an international regulatory authority or a governing body to govern the whole sport, professional or amateur. And today we are in the event business where a lot of promotions are controlling the sport, and athletes, media platforms, managers, gyms, coaches, they're all suffering around the world. And the sport is big. It is the fastest growing sport in the world, fastest fan base growth in the world, most global sport in the world. But it doesn't get what it deserves when it comes to how do we make the sport better into the sports business like football, NFL, or cricket, for example. And that's what's challenging. And for us, every step that we take of what Brave did in globalizing the sport, going to 25 countries and 5 continents, was a part of bringing international world together, creating a national ecosystem in all of these countries and bringing them together under one global ecosystem. But who's going to be the governing body? That's an important thing. You need the FIFA, you need the ICCs of mixed martial art to do that. And that's why, if you look at 2017, we took the International Mixed Martial Art Federation away from the UFC Fight Week because we didn't see any growth there. We didn't see the International MMA Federation getting the respect or the due that they deserve. And today we saw the 2017, 18, and 19, 3 of the biggest world championship of combat sports was by the International Mixed Martial Art Federation. And the MMA Super Cup is the next step towards that, where we're going to bring the actual team factor. One is you want to have a love for your team, you know, you want to go out there and support your country. But how do you do that if you cannot understand what's happening in the competition? So I think when it's team versus team, it's easier for MMA fans and non-MMA fans to actually understand the scoring system. You have 9 fighters fighting against the other 9, and you want to know who's the first 5 winners, and that's the team that qualifies to the next round. Also, the team jerseys was a small little difference, which makes it easier for non-MMA fans to identify their country compared to the blue and red that we always see in boxing or MMA amateur championships. But the key point is, how does this benefit their countries? So if you have a prize money that the country will be benefiting from, or the national federation of that country will be having, so they can reinvest it back into the sport, that's the huge difference. That's when you get the national sports authorities of each country pay attention to your sport. The moment you don't have anything back to your country, you don't see the support from the government so much, other than few countries around the world. And this is what's key point for us, I think, is when you have, how can you bring in revenue into the country? How can you bring in an economy of sports into the country? And that's where the national sports authorities pay attention to, and that's where they see the sports development. We haven't seen that in combat sports for a long time, but this MMA Super Cup is going to show that they're going to have a prize money for the first, second, and third place. They can take it back to their country and reinvest it back into the sports development. So I think it is a big step towards the new age of MMA, and that's going to be the start to a revolutionizing model for mixed martial art, where 50 to 70 years from now, we will look back and say that, do you remember once upon a time, it was just a bunch of events running the sport, and today it's similar to FIFA, ICC, and we have a global structure with governance, with revenue in each country, and also having fans being fans not because they love a fighter or his trash talks, but because they have different other factors to why they have to become fans.